once read that you feel that fear is probably the most important human emotion that all of us have to learn how to tackle. What advice do you have for somebody that wants to follow the advice in several of your books, especially the most recent book, The Icarus Deception, and come out of that comfort zone, stretch the level, and become an artist? How can they overcome this fear? Do you have any tips that you can suggest? And are any of those tips in your prior books that you might want to point us to?
Okay, well, I work very hard not to give people a map. The problem with the map is if the terrain is shifting, the map doesn't help you. But I'm also really passionate about giving people a compass, because the magic of a compass is even if you get blown off course, you can get back on course. And one thing that we know about fear in this new economy is this. The only thing we want to connect with, the only thing we want to talk about are things that are interesting, remarkable, outside the traditional. All of those things have something in common with what I call art. And to create any of them means going into a place where you are afraid. So the compass here is fear. That when you feel like you shouldn't go in a given direction, that's exactly the way you should go. I am not suggesting anyone get rid of fear. That's almost impossible. What I'm suggesting is that when the amygdala speaks up, when the lizard brain says, don't do that, when the resistance says, I'll do it tomorrow, that is your signal to do it. That the things that scare you most are almost certainly the things that will help you succeed, unless you're afraid of spiders, in which case just stay away from spiders.
You mentioned the lizard brain, and by the way, spiders are my big phobia, so let's not even go there. Lizards I'm okay with. I can deal with lizards. For those viewers that aren't familiar with that term, can you briefly explain to everyone what you mean by
Sure, I'll
that?
show it to you. It's right here. It's your amygdala, right next to your brain stem. It is a very powerful part of your brain. It is the prehistoric element of the brain. Every wild animal has one. It is responsible for revenge and reproduction and fear and survival. If it didn't exist, we would have been eaten by saber-toothed tigers long ago. The problem with this prehistoric brain is it's just not really comfortable with blogging. It's not really comfortable with public speaking. It's not really comfortable with writing something or doing something that people want to follow. So when you get ready to make a ruckus, to make an impact, to do the next thing, it's the part of your brain that's saying, don't do that. And the only difference between you and that person on stage is not that they're smarter than you. It's that they figured out that that signal from their amygdala is worth ignoring.
When we're teaching young trial lawyers, Seth, how to try cases, fear is the biggest obstacle. Public speaking, standing up in front of 12 jurors they never met before, is the biggest hurdle that a lot of people have.